Hello, it is a beautiful Friday afternoon. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Real Talk Show brought to you by the youth platform 360. And I welcome you to today's show. Today, we're discussing an important topic, one that is often not talked about. But today, I have amazing guests to help me unpack this topic. Today, we'll be discussing about life after teenage pregnancy. We all know that teenage pregnancy is one of those major issues that we have in our communities. We have our young our young sisters, our nieces, as well as our young girls in the community that have fallen pregnant at an early age. And today we're discussing their life after falling pregnant. And today I'm not alone. As always, I'm with Kimberly Falanga, who is going to co-host this show with me. And Kimberly, you can just say hi to our viewers before I welcome the guests.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Falanga, and I am Brian's co host for the show today. I'm really excited to unpack, to actually be on the show and also to be able to understand how life is for our young ladies out there who fell pregnant at an early stage. And let's share our views in the comment section. Let's interact, and also all the best to our guests as you help us understand how it goes in the community. Thank you. Seems like Brian's internet is not okay. Mr. Collins, are you able to hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. I'm able to hear you.
Okay, Gracious, are you on the show?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, so you could just introduce yourselves and then we can get into it.
Okay, my name is Collins Schone. I'm the HS coordinator and also adolescent focal person under Kito DHO.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins. Gracious?
All right, thank you, Kimberly. So, hi, my name is Gracious Mzaza, a equipment facilitator under WW.G in Livingstone, and I'm also a youth chairperson at Mulala Health Post in Livingstone. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I will now take the floor to Brian to just
Thank you
start
so
up the
much, Kimberly.
conversation.
Yes, thank you so much, Kimberly. My network, it seems, is fading me, but I'm back, and we're gonna start with a very important question to you, Gracious. You mentioned about you being a community facilitator, working in the community with those young girls, and I believe you've met some of those young girls that have had gotten pregnant at an early age, and you have had those interactions with them. So I want to find out from you how common is teenage pregnancy in your community, as well as what has changed from the past and now. Young girls falling pregnant at an early age now compared to then, or how is the situation in your community, Gracious?
All right, thank you, Brian, for that question. So, teenage pregnancy is still a major challenge in these areas that we're working with, but we have often increased awareness sessions in these communities among the adolescents and young girls in these communities. So I would say that we need to add more sustained community engagements in these sessions. But I would give a scenario. So since today's topic is about life after teenage pregnancy, I myself was once pregnant at an early age. And you find like having that feeling to say you are pregnant and your parents expecting a lot from you. I felt like, wow, if mom finds out about this, she's definitely going to kill me. But after some time, end of I used to for 5 months, but after some time, They gave me support and so on. So we have a lot of work in clearing these gaps in our communities and so on.
Okay, thank you so much, Gracious, for that submission. I feel like you're actually the best person that could actually even explain how life is, looking at how you've explained your scenario and how you've actually answered the question. So now I will pose the next question to you, Gracious. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about teenage pregnancy?
Okay, thank you for that question as well, Kimberly. So on that question, people tend to think that young girls fall pregnant because they want to fall pregnant at an early age. But it's not their fault and also our fault. So these teenage pregnancies are mostly led by poverty, ignorance, peer pressure, group influence, and so on. So with proper support to these young girls and women, and also if we could teach the community and healthcare providers that these teenage pregnancies don't just come in their way, like it just comes from nowhere. No. So we have to explain to them to say we have to support these people because they didn't get in this situation by their own, no, but the circumstances surrounding them is what causes those teenage pregnancies. And we'd love to clear those misconceptions about no, it's their fault. She didn't just want to listen to this and that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gracious. I actually agree with you. Sometimes circumstances, we do not see what may happen, and it's not that it's their fault, or maybe they actually choose to be in that situation. Um, Now we'll go to our. Oh, he's just dropped. Mr.
Wow.
Stroni has just dropped, and I was about to ask him a question. Okay. Maybe I can pose to you another question. So, as someone who is working on the ground, you are a community facilitator. I'm sure you do engage with young ladies who have fallen pregnant at a very young age. So, from your experience interacting with them, how would you describe what life often looks like for a teenage girl after she becomes pregnant? And also in terms of school, their family, and their future plans?
Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. So being a community facilitator and interacting with many of these girls who are teenage mothers, life seems to be very difficult for them. Others, they fall pregnant when they're still in school, and they feel or think that their life has stopped and ended from there. But life doesn't end when you fall pregnant, no. So we advise them to go back to school through the re-entry policy that was introduced by the government, and with proper support from families, the communities, to create a non-judgmental area or non-judgmental learning environment for them. They are able to go back to school and achieve their dreams and so on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gracious. You mentioned about how these young girls need to be supported when they are pregnant or when they feel pregnant, and how life is after they feel pregnant. And I just want to find out how parents, in your view, how parents should react when they discover that their child has fallen pregnant, or when their child is pregnant, who is a teenager. So how should, in your view, parents react to such news?
Okay, Brian, thank you. So parents reaction isn't something that we are supposed to be scared of. it's actually meant for them to react that way because they will be in shock, they will feel disappointed by what you have done, or they will get angry with what just has happened. But as time goes on, parents have to support and accept the situation. They have to support you, teach you how to take care of that pregnancy, advise you to go to antenatal and so on. Not like rather than rejecting the children, because when somebody is pregnant and you reject that person, you create mental stress for them, emotional problems for them, and they'll end up either stopping their school, doing whatever they're doing because they feel they have been neglected, not supported by their families and the communities around them.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Gracious.
so much, Gracious.
Oh, Brian, you can
Yes,
continue.
Kimberly, you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gracious. So I can see that Mr. Stone is back. He just dropped a few minutes before I could pose a question to him. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So from a healthcare perspective, what are some of the risks that are linked to teenage pregnancy that people may not be aware of?
Okay, thanks for that question. Teenage pregnancy can increase the risk of complications because a girl's body is not fully developed. And there are many greater risks towards that. And then these
Seems like Mr. Stone's internet is really bad. I can't seem to get him. So I'll pose the question to Gracious in the meantime as we wait for him to get back. So Gracious, what would you say to a teenage girl who has just found out that they are pregnant and they feel like life is over? I remember when you responded to the first question that was asked, you mentioned how a young lady will obviously get scared, would fear knowing what their mother would say, and or rather their guardians, because obviously they've gotten pregnant at a tender age. So as a community facilitator and as somebody who interacts with young people, how would you what would you say to a teenage girl who just discovered that they've fallen pregnant?
All right, Kimberly, thank you for that question. So you'd see if a girl falls pregnant at a tender age, they feel like their life is over, their journey has ended. But their journey has just changed at the moment, and the dream hasn't changed. So if they get support from trusted adults, trusted healthcare providers, trusted teachers like guidance teachers, and so on, with that help and determination, they can continue their life and build where they stopped from.
Okay, thank you so much. That's actually a great answer. I remember you even mentioned earlier that it's not the end of the world, and you can actually even go back to school with the re-entry policy that we have here in Zambia. Um, it's just unfortunate that Mr. Strone is not back, but I could give the floor to Brian to take over.
Yes, Kimberly. So I also wanted to find out from Gracious. She mentioned about her being in the community and where she's given out this information regarding to sexual reproductive health of the young people, and she's been interacting with these young girls who are especially at of being pregnant. So I also want to find out from you, Gracious, what role do you think the community should play in order to support these young girls that have fallen pregnant at an early age? Because look, you mentioned about these effects that may come about due to the stigma around uh, being pregnant at an early age. What do you think the community, you mentioned about the policy itself, yes, that is at national level, but in the community where we come from, what role do each community member have to play in order to support the young girls that have had pregnancy at an early age?
All right, Brian, thank you for that question. I feel the community should create a non-judgmental environment for these girls that fall pregnant at an early age. They should minimize discriminating them, talking bad about them. In that way, would create a safer way for these girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gracious. And Kimberly, you've heard how Gracious is coming out to say each one of us should at least play a role in supporting these young girls. They are our sisters, they are our nieces, and some of them are our girlfriends, so we need to support them. And this brings me to another question, and that one goes to you, Kimberly, you being a lady as well. And I think in your interactions, you might have also talked about it. So I also want to find out. They say so. The question that I want to ask is how related is teenage pregnancy to STIs, the sexually transmitted infections, especially HIV and AIDS? Where do these two meet?
Okay, so as we all know, sexual transmitted infections are transmitted to people through sexual intercourse. And usually you'd find that when young people have unprotected sex, they are at risk of attaining these transmitted infections. So in most cases, you'd find that maybe a young girl who has fallen pregnant has also gotten the infection. So in this case, we, as a healthcare provider, would obviously advise that young person to be on treatment, not just for themselves, but also to protect the unborn child. And in a case where there's someone, a young lady is already got HIV and they discover that they've fallen pregnant, they are also supervised and checked if they are on treatment, because it is the unborn baby is at risk of getting the transmitted infection.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Indeed, there is also need for support after the pregnancy. And this also brings me to you, Gracious. You mentioned about you being found at the health facility and you are chairing a certain group. I also want to find out for these teenage mothers, is there any support that the facilities offer in order to keep them engaged in protective measures, as well as how to yes,
Sorry,
So,
Gracious.
Brian,
Brian,
can
could
you
you repeat the question?
repeat the question?
You are
Oh yeah, so sorry, it's probably because of network. So my question was, you mentioned about you being found in the community at a facility, obviously, and I mentioned to my question is at that facility, is there any support that is given to these young teenage mothers in order to keep them engaged? Obviously, they are not yet matured and they have to learn certain things. So is there such groups at facility level to just support these teenage mothers?
Okay, Brian, thank you for that question. Probably yes, we do have. But these mothers, for you to convince them to come to the facility, to just come and learn on sexual reproductive health rights information and services, it's very difficult. But of course, with the help of healthcare providers, the community workers, we are able to bring them together on a specific day to teach them and give them support in whatsoever information they need to know.
Great. That is really good. And Kimberly, at your facility, or rather in your community, is it the same where young girls are supported in these activities? How is the turnout from the young people themselves that have had pregnancy at an early age? Do they come to ask for this help from the facilities, or it is that type of a situation that they do not actually want to even visit the facility due to other related issues such as stigma and discrimination?
Okay, thank you so much, Brian. So, um, every young girl who fell pregnant at a young age does experience stigma and fear of accessing services. But with the introduction of youth friendly services, we do have young people, peer educators who are trained and skilled, and they do go into the community and they share information with their fellow peers, in a sense that those young girls who have fallen pregnant and who are afraid of going to the facility to go and access services are able to understand the the information from the young people, the young peer educators who share the information in the community. But we do also have young girls who have fallen pregnant before at a young age and do come through to the facility to access services. We have young women who come and who come and be part of the youth friendly space meetings where we do discuss various issues that are linked to sexual reproductive health. We also do have young people who come through and access SRH services from the facility, and even from the outreach, or rather activities that we do conduct in the community, they are able to come through and access these services. This is because we do include youth friendly service delivery. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Indeed, you are doing a great job, and I think the facilities that you are coming from are also doing a good job in order to provide these youth friendly health services, especially to adolescent or teenage mothers. And we haven't forgotten about our online community. You are our most important people on this show. Please give us those comments. Please tell us where you're watching us from. Could it be a question, please? Could it be a contribution, an advice to a fellow young person, especially to our teenage mothers? Please do just comment on in our comment section, and we'll be able to give you that special shout out from the TYP team. And another question to you, Gracious. We've talked so much about the teenage mother. We've talked about so much about the girl child. What role do you think us men, especially those teenage fathers, what role do you think they are supposed to play in ensuring that the mother is safe?
Can you repeat the question you were skipping?
So my question is, we've talked so much about the girl child and the teenage mother. So what do you think is the role of the father, or rather the teenage father? Sometimes it could be an adult. What role do they have to play in this situation?
Okay, thank you. I believe fathers are supposed to be supportive when a girl is pregnant, but in this scenario, we have a girl is pregnant and the boy, or we say the father, stop supporting or just disappear from nowhere. You can't see the father. So when that person does that to that girl, the girl would definitely feel isolated, and they even have stress, emotional trauma, and so on. But I feel men should be supporting these girls because they are the cause of those pregnancies, of course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that response, Gracious.
So,
Indeed,
guys on this show,
young,
you've heard.
you can go ahead, Brian.
Yes, please.
Yes, so I was saying, indeed, Gracious mentioned about men on this show. You've heard that you're supposed to take part in supporting our sisters, our nieces, as well as our girlfriends. Should we be the one that is responsible for the pregnancy or have done that before? Please do be there to support and to just show that you're there. At least that would show the teenage mother that they are not alone. So, Kimberly, we can go now to our comment section and just read some of those comments. It could maybe the questions so that Gracious, together with you, Kimberly, we can to them.
Okay, thank you so much, Brian. So I can see a number of questions. So the first comment here says, just to add on Gracious, community and parents should play a supportive, guiding, and responsible role towards a teenager who becomes pregnant. Provide emotional support instead of rejection or shame. Encourage education so the teenager can continue learning and build a future. Ensure access to health care for both the mother and baby. Offer guidance and counseling on parenting, relationships, and life choices. Thank you so much, Kembe Dixon. The next comment says from Moffat Shankaya, I feel the time is now to change the narrative when it comes to issues to do with teen pregnancy. Many as the times when these youngsters fallen in such situations are being considered as prostitutes and easy girl, not considering the cause of the same. It's high time for the health providers to offer counseling and support in form of encouragement. Moffat within Choma. Thank you so much, Moffat. This is actually a very good comment. The next comment, Bentro Mioba. Should teen dads be held to the same financial standard as older dads, or should age be a factor? This is from Mioba. Maybe we could answer this question. Gracious, are you able to see the comments? The comment says, should teen
Yes,
dads be held
yes,
to the same financial standards as older dads, or should age be a factor? Gracious, you're muted.
Oh, I'm back, Kimberly. I've read the question. I'll give an example. I'll give an example of you and Brian. For example, you are pregnant with Brian and Brian runs away. So if Brian comes back, since Brian is responsible for that pregnancy, he's supposed to take charge financially, supporting you with that pregnancy that you have, whether he's old or he's not old, because he's able to impregnate someone. So age shouldn't be a factor because others feel like, no, I'm too young to support this child. But you knew when doing that you are too young to support the child. So it's automatically you need to support that girl.
Okay, thank you so
Kimberly,
much.
just to add on what Yes, Kimberly, just to add on what Gracious was just saying, to say age really shouldn't be a factor. So for me, really, I think we should also add to say support is non-negotiable. So support doesn't really have to be attached to finances alone. So even these teenage fathers, it could be a teenager who has impregnated. So teenage fathers shouldn't really when they hear support, they shouldn't really associate it more to finances. Rather, they should also think about it in another way, being just present. And also, when someone is available for, it could be emotional support, that means the world to the teenage mother. So, Gracious, on top of what you said, we can also add that support isn't just about the finances themselves, but also um, the emotional support that the teenage mother requires. Imagine someone just runs away, and imagine someone is there to walk with you throughout the journey. I think that also makes a difference on top of the financial support itself. It was just an addition, Kimberly, on a male perspective.
Thank you so much. That's very comprehensive, actually. I hope the males who are on the show actually agree with what you have submitted. I can see some comments. There's this comment from Adriel. It says, as a community facilitator, so this question is going to you, Gracious. As a community facilitator, what strategy do you use to convince those that feel pregnant and have been stigmatized by the community?
Okay, Kimberly, this question isn't completed. So strategy for what? If the person could elaborate more on that one.
So the question simply means, what strategy do you use to convince a young girl who fell pregnant to probably access services from the facility, and also to just be able to confidently live life? Because like you mentioned earlier, they do get stigmatized and they think it's the end of the world, but then life does go on after teenage pregnancy. So what kind of strategy do you use to convince the young girl to understand that she can continue living her life regardless of falling pregnant at a tender age?
Okay, thank you. I wouldn't say much, but my simple strategy that I use myself, I use my experience to convince those girls who fall pregnant at an early age.
Sorry, Gracious. I wasn't able to get you from my end.
Okay, I was saying that I I don't have much strategies, but I use myself as an example. I use my
Okay.
experience to convince those girls because I was also once pregnant at an early age, and my life didn't end there, no, but here I am. So I use myself as an example to convince those girls in our communities.
Thank you so much, Gracious. I actually do remember you mentioning that when we started the show, you did express yourself and explained your situation. And that's actually very good, because sometimes for people to actually make a move or actually decide to do better, they do need an example to actually do better for themselves. I think we can go to more questions. Could we have more questions on the screen? Okay, this comment is from Rue Army. I strongly believe that children born in such circumstances shouldn't be prone to stigmatization of any kind. I strongly believe they should be loved equally, especially children with single moms. Thank you so much, Rue Army. The next one is from Bentro Mioba again. If you could prevent one teen pregnancy or give one teen parent full support to finish school, which helps. Sorry, let me read that again. If you could prevent one teen pregnancy or give one parent full support to finish school, which helps society more long term? I don't know if we've gotten that
Great, great.
question,
So,
Brian.
Kimberly, yeah, so this is simply a comment to say, if we support these young teenage mothers, support does not only end about the finances themselves, but also empowering them with the right education for them to be able to stand alone in the long term. So I think that is a very, very brilliant comment from Bentro Miowa. Thank you so much, Bentro. Please also be a sister skipper if you have any in your circle that may have fallen pregnant at an early age. Please support them.
Okay, thank you so much. I do see more comments coming in. This comment is from Joy Munkombwe, watching from Kalomo, Southern Province, invited by Lisa Siachika. Okay, thank you so much, Joy. We acknowledge your presence on the show.
And another interesting thing, Kimberly, we see these comments being, people are actually being invited by other people, and which is
Yes.
very much uh, good. And let's keep on inviting. You might just be the next person to win yourself a spot at the Regional Adolescent Health Indawa. So thank you so much, Lisa, for inviting your friends to join the show. Please, let's also keep on inviting more so that we discuss, so that we also hear from them in through the comment section what they have to say, what is happening in their community. So, Kimberly, I think also we can now go back to Gracious and just find out more of Gracious. The question that I have for you is the government has put across policies that guide these issues to do with teenage pregnancies and the support for teenage mothers, such as the re-entry policy. But in some cases, you find that some of these policies are not really implemented. It could be because the teenage mothers themselves do not want to access some of these privileges that have been given to them by the government. So, what advice do you have to such in such cases, Gracious?
Gracious, you're muted.
My mic was muted. So, Brian, I've heard your questions. So, my advice to these girls is the re-entry policy is a good program. So, what makes them feel like they don't want to go back to school or access these services that the government offers is because they feel like the learning environment will be judgmental for them, or the community will be judging them for them to be mothers at a young age and go back to school being a mother. So, with proper supports and opportunities from family, community, and the school environment, these girls should be able to go back to school, learn, and focus on their future as well.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Gracious. And to follow up to that question, where you mentioned to say each one has to take responsibility in short, that's what you mentioned. And I would love to also find out from you. This is quite a difficult question in my view. But who is really responsible for teenage pregnancy? Especially in your community, is it the parents, the schools, or the health system, or just the whole community?
So, if I getting your question correctly, you mean to say who's responsible to prevent teenage pregnancies? So, preventing teenage pregnancies is a shared responsibility. It's not for parents only, teachers only, or communities only, but it's for all the three. So, the parents play a very key role in preventing teenage pregnancies by having open discussions with their young girls and boys. Then the school gives them education and life skills, while the community supports them and creates a very safe environment for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gracious. And Kimberly, to you also, how do you? We have another question. Let me just attend to the question that we have in the comment section. Do you have organizations or any form of movement which teaches boys and educates them about teenage pregnancies and the responsibilities involved? So this question simply the Amy is asking about the organization, or rather the movements that we have. It could be in our communities or just in the country or the Africa at large. What movement, or are there any other organization that educates and teaches boys, especially specifically boys? So this question is going to you, Gracious. as well as Kimberly. I think you may add one or two things from what Gracious is going to answer to this question.
Okay, Brian, thank you. I'll have the question this from Ami. Ami, thank you for this question. So this is where we say that we have youth-friendly spaces in our facilities. So you are advised to visit a youth-friendly space, and you get to learn more on teenage pregnancies and responsibilities involved, as well as visiting the antenatal. You get to be taught so many things by the healthcare providers. Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Gracious. Kimberly, are there any organizations? Yes, Kimberly.
Okay.
Go
So one
ahead,
of the
Kimberly, please.
organizations is actually the Youth Platform 360. We do conduct activities in the community where we take services closer to the young people in the community. And as we are doing that, we do educate young people on ways in which they can prevent teenage pregnancy. We do tell them the risks that come with having to fall pregnant at having to have a young lady fall pregnant at a young age. We do make them understand the responsibilities that they are going to have, and we make them know the ways in which they can be able to avoid teenage pregnancy. And one of those ways is by having them to use protection and also to abstain from sexual intercourse. So the youth platform does play a huge role actually in educating young boys from the community. We do not just go to the community, we also do go in schools where we do take this information. We provide this information by sharing it with them in ways in which they can continue to abstain from sexual intercourse to avoid teenage pregnancy.
Great, Kimberly. Great. Just an addition also, you mentioned about how to teach men and also educate them. The youth platform is also doing a program which is known as coaching boys into men and coaching girls into um, women. So I think this is also where young people, especially boys, are taught how to be responsible as a young man, and how to just take up these responsibilities with honor as well as with respect. So I think one of the organizations, ARMY, is the youth platform. Gracious also mentioned about the health facilities themselves. They do offer through the youth friendly spaces. And I think that question has been answered. And thank you so much, Ami, for that question. And Gracious, mentioning about facilities, I think when they say prevention is better than cure, and I want to find out from the facilities that you are working, facilities that you're working with, are there any services that are available for young people that are seeking information about contraceptives themselves? So Kimberly is Gracious still with us?
Yes, I'm here, Brian, though I didn't get what was said earlier.
Yes. So my question was, at the facility that you're working with, are there any available services, or rather, are there yes, are there services that are available for young people that are seeking information about contraceptives? So I believe prevention is better than cure. In as much as we're talking about life after teenage pregnancy, we can also touch a bit about preventing teenage pregnancy itself.
Okay, Brian, thank you. Yeah, we do have those services at the facility. And we do have specific days for the adolescents to come and access those services at the facility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Gracious. Maybe we could read more comments. Could we have comments on the screen? Okay, this comment is from Rue Army. It says, how can one join the youth platform 360? Okay, so for you to be able to join the youth platform, you do have to go to our website and you'll be able to find the procedures that you need to take for you to join the youth platform. So it's the youth platform 360 on our website. Yeah, the link has actually even been shared in the comments. We can go to the next comment. Okay, so this comment is from Sipia Caston. With the imita ufole, which was introduced, how can you convince a parent or teenager not to fall in that but wait for the right time? Is it okay to advise a teenager to use contraceptive pills? Okay, thank you so much, Sipia Caston. I think I can pose this question to Gracious, our community facilitator. How could you answer this question?
Okay, with this word which was said by I won't mention the name, that imita of was really a wrong term to be used to these adolescents in our communities or in our country, I would rather say. So, yes, you can advise a teenager or parents to advise their young girls to use contraceptives. Contraceptives don't just prevent them from falling pregnant, but that stress of no, you get paid five, it should be 400 or 800 after maybe 3 months and so on. That 300 or 800 won't sustain you for the whole life or for the whole year. So, would advise them to access contraceptives at the facility for them to prevent that imita for the thing for them.
Okay, thank you so much, Gracious. So now, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a young person who is watching the show, or rather, one takeaway that you could share from today's conversation?
Okay, Kimberly, thank you. So I would say, or my advice to the adolescent and girls, young women out there is that they should make informed decisions, focus on their goals, seek accurate information, and do not hesitate to ask guidance when faced with challenges. Your future is shaped by the choices that you make today. So please don't listen to what people are telling you. Don't influenced by peer pressure or you want to experience what your friends are experiencing. No, you need to focus on your goals. You need to plan on your future. So always make informed decision and always communicate open to your parents and your trusted elders. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gracious. I would also like to share one of my key takeaways from today's conversation. To all the young girls out there, always remember, like Gracious has said, to make informed decisions. Remember, the decisions that you make now are going to what are going to determine your future. So you have to ensure that you do make informed decisions. And in a case where you need advice or you need care, you can reach out to your family. And if you're not comfortable, you can still reach out to the facilities in your communities, because we do have healthcare providers who are able to help you with the information that you need. And also, abstinence is key. Let's abstain, not only to the girls, but also to the young men out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kimberly and Gracious, for joining us today. Memory, thank you so much, our interpreter, and to our online viewers. Thank you so much for those comments. For those that are inviting other people, we have a special reward for you. Keep inviting your friends to join the show and make sure they don't mention that it's you who have actually invited them. And because of time today, I think it is the time where we say bye bye, and we'll join you next week, same time, different topic, but it is an exciting topic even next week. Please do join us next week. And from us, the rest of TYP, it is bye bye and see you next week.